You were saying a moment ago that Jim Brainard has been mayor for almost 3 decades. He, as you know, chose not to seek reelection for an eighth term. He's served longer than any other mayor in the city's history. His supporters and detractors alike say he has transformed your city. How would your administration differ, if you could be a little more explicit about differ from Brainard's?
Sure. Well, first and foremost is community engagement. Um, Again, I mentioned we've had such heavy growth, and Jim, Mr. Brainerd, one of the reasons he's been successful is he's kind of put his head down, and after a nearly 30 years in office, can advance with his initiatives. A new mayor, I believe, needs to engage the community, understand what our community today really wants in their mayor moving forward, in their community moving forward. I want to start with a community survey. That's something Jim has never done, to engage community, engage our employees, engage visitors, to really get a feedback on what they think of our community, what they'd like to see moving forward. We've never had a community-driven strategic plan. I want to make sure we develop that, post it online, put goals and objectives, strategies and tactics out there, and progress in the form of a scorecard for our residents to see how they're doing. It's their community. They should clearly understand how our time and dollars are being spent. That very much differs from Mr. Brainerd because he never put that kind of detail online. He's obviously left us with an incredible legacy for transportation network and urban built environment. And so we want to make sure we continue to build on those elements as well. But I also want to engage our international community. I'd like to see an international center. We have 102 languages spoken in the homes of Carmel kids from about 80 countries. And so there's not a greater way we can pull those all of our groups together in an international center. We can highlight art and religion and culture and food, and use that as an economic development opportunity as well. So those are just some of the ways I'd like to differentiate.
Speaking of differentiating, sometimes when you refer to the current mayor, you call him Jim, and then you back up and call him Mr. Brainerd. Why are you making that distinction now?
It's no distinction. It's just how I've spoken. It's no disrespect to him, certainly. I've been friends with him for, probably since 2005. I call him Mr. Brainerd out of respect. I also call him Mayor all the time when I call him. So there's no particular thought that's going into that at all.
Okay. Shortly before the May primary, you issued what you called your fiscal excellence plan. Mm-hmm. Its introduction says that your plan, I'm going to quote now, gives residents a seat at the table in Carmel's financial future. The introduction goes on to say, again, quoting, "We need a leader who will not put our public safety or our quality of life at risk with overspending, debt, red tape, high taxes, and fees." Back to Mayor Brainerd and the comparison, are those implicit, at least, criticisms of Mayor Brainerd?
I don't think they're criticisms. I think it's more caution moving forward. And I've said before, what got us here today won't get us there tomorrow. We were blessed with an incredible environment within which we could grow. Extremely low, historically low lending rates, down to nearly zero on interest rates sometimes. And an opportunity of greenfield where we could really build residential and commercial developments without a lot of rub right against near area neighborhoods, and we grew fast. We had a lot of we were well positioned coming out of the recession, so we grew fast then. So when we built our transportation network too, so those take dollars. We have to bond to do those kinds of transformative projects. We're not going to be able to do that pace moving forward, and we need to make sure we have someone with a fiscal discipline and understands financial flexibility will be important moving forward. There may be several things that really negatively impact our growth, in particular, our revenue moving forward, whether it be income tax reductions, property tax reductions. And let me be clear, I'm support of low taxes for residents, but those are things we have to keep an eye on as our revenue and our ability to pay our bonds so we don't get in trouble and have to make decisions that say, we're going to cut back on public safety. If we have someone investing too much in environmental initiatives, perhaps, or other initiatives that aren't what I call essential services, police, fire, water, sewer, stormwater, those essential services, and our transportation network, our roads and streets. If they're not putting those things first, we could get ourselves in a bind. And that's why those words are in that document.